Why does the energy of anger sometimes instantly override our presence and peace? There's different explanations for anger. There can be that the body is out of balance, so it can be like physiological issue that's happening, which creates anger. But it can be that it's connected to your interpretations of what's happening. Yeah, and that goes really deep. Like your interpretation of what's happening with other people. So a good example of anger is that somebody doesn't buy into the story which you're telling yourself about yourself. And then the defense to that can be an eruption of anger. But you might not be conscious of this, so it might just come up as a sensation, and then before you know it, like there is anger erupting out towards people. Sometimes you can even have anger and be telling yourself that you're in a good mood. I remember experiencing that. But like an example of it is, say that you've got two people and they meet and they go into conversation, and one of them, say, doesn't feel so drawn into wanting to talk, and the other one really wants to talk a lot. And so what happens during the conversation is the chatty one doesn't feel validated enough, and rather than just bringing that into conversation so you can both like share about that, and the other one can be like, yeah, I'm so sorry, I just don't have the energy for talking today, maybe we could meet another day, or we could just have a bit more silence, or you can just accept that I'm not so chatty. This one begins to feel insecure and then might get more and more angry with the quieter one and build up resentment, passive aggression. But this one might not even realize that it's doing all of this. It might have stories in the body going like, they're not respecting me, they're disrespecting me, they're not listening to me. And you could say that all of this is connected to past conditions, like what's come before, the way in which you've viewed yourself before, and the way that you currently view reality. There's nothing wrong with that. Anger is anger. It doesn't need to disturb your peace. It can just be there. It's part of being human. But it often disturbs peace because of unconsciousness of it, and because it's got too many tentacles going out into time-bound reality. And so you're wanting to abide by this image of yourself. So this image of yourself is more important than this moment and the vibration of that anger. So rather staying with the anger and feeling the insecurity and the vulnerability, the anger propels the mind into like seeking for solutions, trying to put the other one down, trying to get somewhere. Yeah. Rather than there is just anger and vulnerability. And it's really fascinating, anger. Anger can be because the outside world isn't validating that what you want them to see of you. So it can be like protection mechanism. It can also be because people are crossing your boundaries, and they might not even be doing anything wrong, but you've not established boundaries, so they're just getting repetitively crossed. And so what you've got to do is two things. One is becoming present to the anger, and two, exploring that sensation and the narratives that come with that sensation. The goal is not to get rid of the anger. The goal is to be with the anger, because the anger is divinity. It's part of the experience. I suspect Khaleesi's feeling angry when she barks, but there's no separation from the barking, and she's not defending that visceral sensation with a narrative. It's the going into narrative and cutting off from it's the problem. Otherwise the whole world is angry. Like consciousness is like filled with anger. It's like really a commitment to what you are now. And are you committed to it? Or are you like, okay, let's just get into some of the vibes of Lisa, or get into some of the vibes of these teachers, and then that will hopefully dissipate the anger. Or if I do a bit of this, it'll dissipate the anger. Yeah.